Busia ene Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, yes, the flag bearer. The current flag bearer for the MPP election 2028. Abusia ene ensem aba bontin efa papa yi ho. Yes. Ensem aba bontin a efa papa yi ho na abusia fo ensem na no odin. Yes, ensem no ano edin. We dey ma make asam apese ko na yiti ensem aba bontin. Efa ye papa ye Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ho emra sesi ha era so aye be media je chabu se be so wase ene ne dey community channel so be so wase be subscribe e dey my YouTube channel no so be notification bell no so for more podcast updates yeti enkom aba abonten efa Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ho emra sesi
own staff, his own staff, a Christian, Kenneth J, went and cleared. A private individual had imported 14 containers of rice. He writes on Bawumia's letterhead to the GRA that the vice president wants rice to share for Ramadan. Lantam, you are Muslim, right?
No, I'm a Christian.
You are a Christian, sorry.
Yes.
But we know Muslims, the biggest thing for them is Ramadan.
Yes.
And they give out goodies. Bawumia's office shared 10,000 bags of rice because they cleared the first 10 containers out of 14. 10,000 bags of rice stolen from a Ghanaian citizen. That matter is being investigated by the OSP. The gentleman who committed that crime.
Concluded the investigations yet, so
the OSP,
it's alleged.
No, they have issued a statement admitting that Bawumia's office has issued
of Ghana City in excess of 2 billion to a program that they were only paying graduates only 700 cedis a month. How would Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia be able to go back to the people and tell them that look, the policy NAPCO was better than what they are doing today? What about the debt to GDP ratio? What about corruption? How would Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign on corruption? When in fact his own office, they were identified as being complicit in the stealing of rice. You remember the rice saga? In fact, the office of the special prosecutor has captured it as one of the cases that they are investigating. When they stole more than 10 containers of rice and shared it to Muslims that were fasting.
Please kindly wrap up.
What about the national service that he himself came to tell us that he had brought an app called the Metric app that had the potential of, as it was, restricting registration of fake names into it, when later we were made to believe, and as is so, that 2.4 billion has been swindled under his watch. So clearly, the United Party couldn't have been happier with the choice of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, because as we speak now, the entire Kusasi zone, what it means is that in election 2028, the United Party is poised to sweep the votes in the Kusasi zone. You know, this is not something you are going to run away from it. There is a rift between the Mampusis and Kusasis. So the MPP has deliberately said that, look, we don't want votes from one session. That's what it means. So we are happy, and I can say without any fear of contradiction that election 2028 will be one of the keenly contested elections between the United Party and any party that performs, maybe relegation matches, but we are very much focused, and that expect surprises. I'll end it here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Solomon also is the account for me.
So bold to tell us that, look, we have come here. We are not ready to go and vote because 3 out of the 5 candidates have bought their monies. What are the 2 doing? I do 2 more coordinator for you want to forget the money? They won't vote until they add up. And so now if anybody is convincing you that they actually paid 700 and 500 apiece, then you must be living in a fool's paradise. They paid each of them in excess of 2,000 cedis on that day. But in order to manage public perception of what they were doing, they needed to just come out with a 700, 500, 500. Granted, Senna, that they paid, Brian alone paid 700 cedis. Now, in total, you had about 211,849 delegates who were supposed to take part in that exercise. Now, close of day report suggests, or the votes that came out suggest that only 196,442 actually took part in the exercise. So now, if all these people, and I've already told you that the amount that they gave them was in excess of 2,000. But let's even go with what the delegates themselves told us that these candidates paid. 196,442 times 700 for Brian alone. What it means is that on election day, Brian expended 137,509,400 cedis. That is for Brian. Remember, one of the reasons for which Adenimo withdrew from this race was the fact that the party called the New Patriotic Party was charging 4.6 million. When that issue was raised, Senna, countless of their communicators disputed that fact, that there was no way the MPP could charge 4.6 million. It turned out that indeed they charged 4.6 million. Add that to this one. In the days leading to the election, they went round the various constituencies. Any constituency they visited, they paid the delegates. So what it means is that this small internal contest, the New Patriotic Party candidates have expended more than 2 billion Ghana cedis. 2 billion Ghana cedis has been thrown away. A party that is unable to pay its staff at the headquarters. Remember that last year or so, the staff came out that they had not been paid almost 8 months after elections. And this is what members of the party are able to give out or dole out. But does it not prick your mind to link this to the levels of corruption that we experienced under the Bawumia administration? So you see, their actions and inactions last Saturday points to a fact and points to why this country was underdeveloped, because the monies are with them. And I'm very surprised what the GRA is doing with the benefit of these figures. By now, the GRA must be going after them to find out how and where they got these monies. Last year, on the 15th of September 2025, I, together with the Bobokman and Apia Dankwa, we petitioned the OSP. You know about that. When Dr. Bawumia had told the entire world that he is single-handedly voices these utterances by these two people and what it means to the party. First was Sami Elku on Asempa FM. Sami says, look, if Dr. Bawumia had won election 2024, he would have given positions to people who actually do not support him and do not believe in his cause. And it was therefore good that he lost, so that today that they have voted, they sing the pattern of voting, and know those that support him in the future, all those that decided not to vote for him, count yourself out of his administration. In fact, I said 2 statements, but let me say 3 actually. When I heard this from Sami Elku, I took it on a light note, or on a lighter note. On the platform, the very day they declared Dr. Bawumia as the flag bearer elect, his acceptance speech, in closing his speech, he said, look, as for the MPs, he can't thank them more, and that those that supported him will forever remain in his heart, and he will treat them specially. What it means is that the likes of Stika, the MP at Tejusu, Ajensam, and Afenyo Markins, and Kwaku Kwatin and the rest that supported the bid of Kennedy Japan, and those that supported OPK, them that supported Brian, they have no future in this administration. But that doesn't surprise you. It is the reason why already there are machinations, there are maneuvers to, as it were, try to get Afenyo Markins out of position, which will happen anyway, because you see, if Afenyo Martins is thinking anything different. Remember, it was Chimensa Bonsu who was the majority leader. You remember that? And Chimensa was replaced by Afenyo. We understand that it was a coup d'etat. Chimensa only came out to say that he had resigned, not from his own volition, but if he had not done so, he out of office. So he see his nemesis as coming from a coup d'etat that was led and actually executed by Afenyo Marcus. Now, Chimensa Bonsu was the coordinator for the Bawumia campaign. And with this in hindsight, you think you will live there. They are already preparing upon Akroma. So that is the first crack. It is the reason why when the parliamentary caucus or the minority in parliament visited Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Afenyo was so clear in his mind that, look, first of all, as a minority party, we never had any strategy in parliament in 2025. Secondly, the cracks are too deep, and that going forward, there must not be any individual play so that we can work together. And tell it, because he's afraid. Afenyo is so much afraid. He knows what is about to happen to him. Afenyo cannot contain it. He knows they're going to boot him out. He said, look, Mr. Flatbearer, from today to go, in order to let you believe that we are serving you, and say, now listen to this portion very carefully. We vote for parliamentarians to go and serve our interests. Is that not the case? Now, Afenyo, because of the fear of losing his position, went and pledged the entire minority to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He said, look, doctor, the whole of 2025, we didn't have any strategy. Now you are the anchor. You are the leader of the party. Whatever you tell us, that is what we will do in parliament. Can you imagine? He has shown the whole minority to answer to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to do whatever pleases him. And now all of them are going to, they are bowing like there is no tomorrow. Every morning they go and greet. Every morning from head to toe, everyone is going to the house to go and greet. But so now, did you listen to Kennedy Japan? When he met his supporters and few journalists, hey, things are in the pipeline. Oh, my goodness. First of all, it is so clear that Kennedy Japan does not have that much leverage on the supporters. His own supporters, they have a mind of their own and they think differently. The main reason why they supported Kennedy Japan was the fact that they believed the establishment had destroyed the MPP. Indeed, they have destroyed the MPP. That's why Professor Frimpong told you that the MPP had two sets of membership. They had the fake ones and the virtual members. And that the Kennedy Japan supporters were fighting to make sure that the fake members were sacked from the party. So when he was addressing his supporters, whereas he was preaching unity, right there the supporters told, hey my friend, if you are the one preaching your unity, just get away. We are done. We will take our destiny into our own. And from there, I have heard and watched a number of videos online with Kennedy Japan supporters, particularly the lady saying that, look, they are not going to work for the MPP. They are not going to join the MPP. I said, I have the data here from, maybe after that you can publish, from our website. I mean the United Party's website, www.unitedpartyghana.org. Since Saturday that they held that election, between Saturday 6 p.m. to Monday, we have gotten close to 3,000 members shifting to our party. And I'll show you the data. I don't lie with data. Because they believe that what was going on was all right. Beyond the supporters telling Kennedy Japan that, look, anything can happen. This is a loaded message that nobody can downplay it or will ever attempt to downplay it. Because, see, anything can happen could mean that, yes, the party can even decide to, as it were, take Mahmoud Bawumia or remove him as the flag bearer, because obviously, and by now they should know that since Saturday, till date, the euphoria around town is that this is the worst decision. It's even worse than what they did in 2023 that the NPP are embarked on, settling on Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Look, so are you aware that there is an upcoming by-election in Ayawasu East? I hope you are aware of that.
For the NDC is doing primaries today.
The NDC is doing primaries today, right?
Yeah.
But are you aware that the NPP has already selected their candidate?
Yeah.
Babali. How many times has the NPP itself, through their communicators or assigns, been able to even go to project the Babali? They voted for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia with a view that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is going to champion the vision of the party as well as that of Baba Ali in Ayawasu East. Remember, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia lives in Ayawasu East. And he has been telling us all this while that given the opportunity, he will win the Muslim vote. Thankfully, the Ayawasu East is a Muslim vote community. So they were expecting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, after accepting to be the flag bearer of the party, the next Sunday, he is in Ayawasu East, house to house, room to room, campaigning for Babali. It's the one that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia do. The next available flight is in the UK, chilling. The man is chilling. Because there is nothing that he could go and say on the street that people would take him serious. I can tell you that he is going to be a lame flag bearer. Is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia going to campaign on the economy currently? Is he going to go to Ghanaians and talk to Ghanaians about exchange rate? When he had preached to us in opposition in 2013, 2014, 2015 and 16 that there was something called the Donyame exchange rate. You heard that? And that there was a correlation between interest rate, exchange rate and inflation, and that given the opportunity, he was going to turn around the economy of this country, stabilize the city. Indeed, when they came to power, he was bold to tell us that he had arrested the dollar and given the keys to the then IGP. What's the name of that IGP? I forgot it, but it will come. You understand? That he was boasting that he had given the keys to that today. If Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as a flag bearer decides to go out and campaign, how is he going to relate the current exchange rate to his regime? Now, going around the country, the campaign was made relatively cheaper for him because the fuel that he used to cause Ghanaians to buy 23 cedi per liter, he was buying it at 10 cedi. How would he be able to go back to the people of this country as the flag bearer of the NPP to say that, look, the current fuel regime, ours was better than yours, and for that matter, look at me and vote? What about the NAPCO that he himself brought? NAPCO, Nation Builders Corp, that a party that had a policy called, a program called the One District, One Factory, they did not see the need to invest heavily in that policy to absorb most of the teeming youth to be employed, but they saw the need to give big